Corey Swarthouse here for Slap News with Austin Hubbard. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Really good. I appreciate you joining me. I know you were on TUF season 31. What an exciting series this entire time. It's been great TV across the board. So since this is your first time joining us here on Slap News, give us a quick 60, 90-second recap of kind of your background, where you came from and what got you here today.
Yeah. So my name's Austin Hubbard. I train with Elevation Fight Team out in Denver, Colorado. I had 7 UFC fights prior to being on Ultimate Fighter. I got the call for Ultimate Fighter. And obviously, I went on the show and won my first fight. The semifinals are starting soon. So tune in for those. And yeah, I was out here and training and getting ready for a fight.
Awesome, man. So you said you had 7 fights with the UFC previously.
Yeah.
Awesome, my dude. So, I mean, obviously you're a true veteran of the sport, to say the least. I'm not even sure what the average length of an MMA, pro MMA fighter's career is, but obviously if you've had 7 fights in the UFC, that's greater than most people. Let's talk a little bit about, kind of the ups and downs, of your career. I'm sure the excitement of getting into the UFC, being cut from the UFC, kind of getting another opportunity to be on TUF. What is it that allowed you to keep staying with it for so long and have that determination to continue?
Yeah. So, I've been training and doing MMA. I started when I was 20 years old. That's when I very first started doing MMA. I'm 31 now. So it's crazy how fast time has gone by. And what's kept me in it is I just truly love, training and doing MMA. To me, that's why I started doing it. I really enjoy training and that whole aspect. And then, I started having fights and things went really well. My fights as an amateur, I had a very successful career. And I would say I've done pretty well in my professional career. I'm 15-6 right now currently. I was 10-2 before I got into the UFC, and I captured 4 different professional titles, all with different promotions and in different states, before the UFC, and the biggest one being the LFA World Championship. And then I had my UFC career. Like I said before, I had 7 fights where I was alternating winning, losing. Obviously, that's not the way you want things to go. You want to obviously always win, more than you lose. Unfortunately, I won 3 and I lost 4. I never have lost back-to-back fights. I feel like I always had very entertaining fights, but nonetheless, the UFC chose not to re-sign me after I finished out my last fight on that contract. And yeah, things got really hard. It was hard to get fights. I went through a lot of, struggles, financially and then in my life, a lot of life changes. And it was the past year and a half, 2 years has tested me beyond measure. To be honest, is the worst time of my life I've ever had. But this Ultimate Fighter opportunity really came out of nowhere. I had no idea they were even doing a new season. And one of the TV producers actually called my coaches and was like, hey, we think he'd be a good fit. We want him on the show. And my coaches called me and, the rest is history. Obviously, I got on the show and, filming for that took back in February. So, we're a little ways out from that now. But that opportunity definitely brought a new life to me, really turned me around and how I was feeling and everything else. And yeah, it's been cool.
Awesome, man. I mean, all that experience being in the UFC, it had to help you come on to the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, you met Dana before, you've seen all the organization, you knew what the medicals were like, you knew all the processes, kind of going through, press conferences, weigh-in, fight week. I'm sure you had some experience with all that stuff. Let's talk a little bit about getting into the Apex. Because for a lot of the guys getting into the Apex is kind of like a holy grail. It's for a lot of fans, it's kind of a sacred place that not a lot of people have got into.
Yeah.
You know, so if you get to see an event there, it's pure VIP only, minimum
Yeah.
$1,500 to get in there. So,
Yeah.
you know, getting in there, seeing all those jerseys that line the entrance and the
Yeah.
history and the things that have took place in that building. Like, what does it feel like when you walked in there and, you know, started getting going with the filming for the show?
Yeah, it was really cool. You know, so it's funny you bring that up, being it such a rare opportunity. I actually had a lot of fights there. Someone actually asked me, you know, oh, are you nervous to fight in Apex? Like, this is new and this and that. I was like, no, actually, it's not. Like, I've had 4 or 5 fights here already prior to this. So,
Mhm.
you know, I felt comfortable. I felt at home, and I think that having that experience there in the past is it definitely helped. You know, in that experience in the Ultimate Fighter.
Totally. You know, when you were on the show itself, you know, I know you would, whatever you were, 16 guys in a house.
Yeah,
They take away all your phones, music,
yeah,
television, stuff like that. But you know, they brought in the TV for you guys to watch UFC fight cards on the weekend, and
yeah,
they also allowed you to watch Power Slap.
yeah.
What did you think being able to watch that for the first time, and everything that was going on with the Road to the Title series?
You know, we were there filming at the same time as them, so I was able to meet some of the Power Slap competitors, and you know, it's before watching it, it was something that I didn't think I was interested in watching.
Mhm.
But then, you know, being there and watching it, I was like, it's you really can't look away almost. Like it is entertaining to a sense for sure. And you know, it's entertaining. Like I said, you kind of get drawn in and you can't look away. And just the whole system of it is just it's pretty crazy to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have any favorites? I mean, obviously you probably met some guys and talked to them. Was there any one striker that kind of stood out to you?
No, you know, they all seemed really cool. They all did. But no one stands out in particular. You know, that was kind
Yeah,
of a while ago. It's kind of in passing that brief moment of meeting them. But I do remember everyone seemed
cool.
very cool.
Cool, man. I mean, if you could get in a power slap match against your first opponent on the Ultimate Fighter, would you do it?
No, no, I would not do power slap. I'm not dude signing up to get hit for free. Like if I can't block it or try slipping and then
Yeah.
striking back on my own pace, I don't think that's for me. So more power to them, because you know that's brave. I'll give it to them for sure, because I wouldn't want to stand there and just get slapped as hard as I possibly or the other person possibly can.
Yeah.
So, like I said, more power to them.
Well, let me ask you this question then. If you could slap anybody dead or alive, who would you slap?
Oh, huh. Dead or alive. You know who needs slapped is our president right now. You know, this country's a mess. Uh, Anyone in that administration could use a good slap, I think.
Okay, so Joe Biden. So you're gonna pick on the senior citizen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am.
Imagine that, eh? Donald Trump and Biden in a power slap match.
Yeah, that would be entertaining right there. I'd watch that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they talked about Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg going up potentially
Yeah,
in a UFC match. One,
yeah.
would you want to see that? And two, who do you think would win?
You know, I would watch it. Why not?
Yeah.
I know Mark has been doing jujitsu, but I think from what I've seen, Elon's been doing some jujitsu too. So I
Mhm.
think it would be interesting to see how it comes down to their striking ability and how fast they pick that up. Um, you know, Zuck seems to be in a little bit better shape than Elon,
Mhm.
but you know, Elon has that size advantage. So I think it would be entertaining and interesting matchup.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. First time you met Conor McGregor, what was that like?
Oh, it was pretty cool. I mean, I really didn't have a bad experience with him personally.
Mhm.
He was when I first met him, he came over to the fighter house and everything, and he was really cool. Like he you know, was being motivational, he was being down to earth and all those sorts of things. Um Yeah. So I really don't have much bad things to say because my personal experience was only good. He is a bit of a wild man, though. I'll definitely say that.
Absolutely. What about your coach, Chandler, being able to be coached by him and kind of get some guidance there? Was that a pretty cool experience?
Yeah, it was really cool. I really like Chandler a lot. He's a great dude. He put his heart into us, and I feel like we got great training. He brought in great coaching staff, and it was just good work all the way around. And he was there for us every step of the way.
Awesome, my man. Obviously being a mixed martial artist, you've probably practiced, a ton of different disciplines in your day to kind of get you here. As it relates to power slap, either giving a slap or taking a slap, do you think there's any technique or any type of training style or exercises that you've done in your past that you think would help improve, what you're seeing going on with slap fighters today?
Uh, yeah, I would think so. Obviously a slap, you have, rotational power and being I fight and rotating and torquing your body is important. So I do a lot of rotational power type of workouts. So I think
Mhm.
that would, be an advantage in a training tool for a power slap who is essentially doing the same type of motion. Um, as far as getting hit, I don't know. In my sport, I it's easier to brace for it a little bit because you can slip, you can roll, you can block, you can do a lot of different things.
Mhm.
As far as like taking a hit full on, that I don't honestly I don't know how what they can do to even train taking that. You know what I mean? I don't know the sport well enough to say what could help with that. I guess besides clenching your jaw, I don't even know what the rules are. I know that you can't flinch and certain things like that. So I don't know, just being tense as possible, I guess would probably help with that. Maybe a lot of neck workouts.
Yeah. What do you do for a neck workout? Like, are you using any type of equipment, any specific exercises?
Yeah, we do a lot of where we'll have straps, on our head, and like we have to walk out and like do different type of movements, like weighted movements and things like that, and stretching, obviously, just things like that.
Gotcha. Um, you know, a lot of it's kind of been said about, a slap is very similar to kind of like a right hook. If you're right-handed. When
Yeah.
when you're throwing kind of a right hook, are you recruiting other muscles? Like obviously you talk about that rotational aspect. Like, are you bringing into account, like your shoulder griddle? Are you bringing in your lats? Like, what area of your body are you trying to bring in some of that momentum and try and get your hips and legs into it as well? Like
Yeah.
what are you doing to try to generate the most power and speed?
Yeah, so the power comes from the floor first. So like your hips, legs, your footwork, obviously that's all really important. Um and I don't, like I said, I don't really know the rules and slap. I know it's
Yeah,
open hand. Can they like bend their arm at all, or you know, is it
correct.
has to
Yeah,
stay straight?
yeah. I mean,
And obviously a hook is a little different than a straight arm slap. Um, but yeah, I'm sure there's similar, a foundation for sure.
yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is they can't rotate their feet. So
Oh,
they have to keep their feet flat on the ground.
oh,
So,
okay.
so you will lose obviously, the lower
Yeah,
part of the twisting aspect, but you can move
yeah.
your hips. Your arm can be bent as well. However, your hand has to hit flat on the
Okay.
surface. You can't hit leading with, the
Of the
metacarpal
palm.
bones or
Yeah.
the palm. So you do have to be straight, but however you come across to it, whether straight, we're seeing wider, kind of like that Mike Tyson haymaker. You're seeing some
Yeah.
guys kind of come under and around. So you are seeing different variations to it. As long as when you connect, it's flat on with the target.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So, well, man, I mean, we wish you all the very best. I know you have another match coming up here. I won't ask you about that because it's got to be must watch TV, but I appreciate
Yeah.
you joining me.
Yeah, no
Where can
problem.
people follow you on social media? I mean, all the Slap fans here at Slap News love supporting the fans that support us. So let us know your social handles and everybody will get on board with you and
Yeah.
follow you in your journey.
You can find me on Instagram at Austin Hub 155, and that's two B's, HUBB 155. And yeah,
Awesome, man. Appreciate you. Much love.
thank you guys. Thanks for having me.